Hello, this is
Keep it.
Oh, my knees. That's the blooper. Hello, this is Jimbab here from Jimbab Productions, and you are watching The Jimbab Show. Well, hello and welcome to the Jimbab Show. I am James here from Jimbab Productions, joined alongside by Devin and Danny. Danny's got the plague, so this should be interesting. So I am the walking sponsorship, and and this podcast brought in part by Game of Thrones. We're not actually sponsored. Don't sue us, please.
Or sue us. That means we get to see some of you in
free-
court.
Any publicity is good publicity. Anyways.
Unless you're Toby Turner.
Yeah. Anyways, different podcast. So,
Shots fired.
Game of Thrones just had their season premiere.
Yeah, that was tonight, and we watched it.
Yeah, we
5
just
minutes
watched
ago.
it just before the podcast, and hot damn.
Quite a bit happened.
It wasn't how I was expecting my Sunday night to go.
No.
No.
Is Jon Snow live or dead? He's pretty dead.
He's fucking dead. He's staying dead.
Is the prick who runs the show of the Night's Watch, when's he gonna die?
Or Thorn.
Alistair.
Yes.
Alistair,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Who was it that dies in the book?
I always. When?
No! You know who it was? Who was...
Slint gets his head cut off.
Yeah,
in one of
Slint
those
gets his head cut off.
Satisfying passages out of any book.
Yeah. Have you, does he... I forget if he gets his head cut off in, the TV show.
who?
No, I don't think so.
James Slint?
Nah.
No? Oh, okay, so basically what happens is...
I think they hang him.
No, see, this is what happens. So, he's going in there and he's like, I was supposed to be Lord Commander, blah, 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 this, that.
Oh,
and the
that
other.
guy, the douche from South?
Yeah.
He was supposed to.
Oh, he
was
got
from.
beheaded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. I forget how they
He
do
was
it.
Jon
from the
Snow.
Gold Cloaks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jon Snow beheaded him.
Yeah, he was
on the
like,
block.
they could go hang him from the wall. And then he's like, Daddy just, like, appears in the back of his mind. The man who says the sentence must swing the sword. Or, like,
Yeah.
so that's how I imagined it.
No,
Yeah.
no. It was one of my favorite passages in the book, because what it sets it up like as if he's going to forgive him.
Yeah.
At the last, he's like, "No, this feels wrong. You can't hang him. Give me a block."
Yeah. And yeah, even the people react. They're like, "Oh, come on, you're just gonna forgive him, right?" Like, 'cause they thought he was inexperienced, and then he just like gives out the justice. The justice.
I am judge, I am jury, and I am executioner. Judge Dredd.
Originally I thought Thorn was going to be like a Severus Snape sort of character.
No.
Where he turns around in the end, but
Anyone you think is going to be a main character will die.
no. But I thought it was going to be like Severus Snape in that at the beginning you think he's like an evil guy, but then he sort of turns around in the end and he's not so bad. But
No. Well, let's face it, we all thought he was a bad guy until that final moment where he died.
I still think that he, on his own terms, he thinks he did the right thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true, because the hatred of the wildlings is a very ingrained
I thought you were still
thing.
talking about Severus Snape.
Yeah, I
No,
know.
no.
Then I realized where you're going. But the
The
thing
hatred
is,
of Harry Potter is a very...
he understands the threat, though. That is the White Walkers.
No one else does.
What, Thorn?
Yeah. Because literally,
Wait, who? Thorin?
he does. Because literally, he had so many brothers coming back saying, "We just got attacked by a giant skeleton army."
But in the TV show, he was such a pompous douche. Like,
It doesn't matter. He understands the threat.
I don't think he understood,
We got
If the shirt was
attacked by a
backwards.
giant skeleton army. Okay.
Well, the division in the Night's Watch was basically over one thing: whether you thought the White Walkers were the biggest
Yeah.
threat,
Or
or
the
whether you thought the
Wildlings.
Wildlings were the biggest.
And you know
threat.
what? Something when I watched the show, whatever season it was it was the 4th season or 5th season, with the Battle of the Wall.
yeah.
I didn't
That's
like
season 4.
Yeah, I didn't like it because it's done so much better in the book. The book just No, the book.
It was a whole episode dedicated to that one event.
Yeah,
but
and
that
there's
like,
like
you can only
3 whole sections of the book, and it's just like a masterful like battle.
I know, but you can only do so much in a 50-minute program.
Yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Yeah. But
they did. I don't think I've seen that episode.
I think it's made up for though in the battle of like
Hardhome.
Because what happens is
that was
he never goes. Yeah, Jon Snow never goes there, and he just sends the ships, and the ships get like sea wrecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens there. At least that's what I remember happening. So like he's
they
never
got on
there.
their boats.
Yeah, they got
after the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but the battle never happens. Like.
Oh, okay, in the books.
I think they get attacked, but like they get on the boats, and it's not the same way. But I think that battle scene makes up for how. I'm not gonna say how poorly done, but how lacking for me the Battle of the Wall was.
Mm-hmm. But I will say though, that moment when the Lord of the Night or whatever his name is, the leader of the White Walkers,
the Night's King.
The Night's King. Let's face it, that moment when the Night's King resurrects everyone who just died in that battle, I'm like, fuck. And it's just like miles of like corpses all standing up. I'm like,
and
you're screwed.
That whole part where like they take a baby and turn it into a White Walker, that was weird. You wouldn't have saw that because that is not in the books at all.
I think I saw a clip of it. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but like
so before we continue, let's state our experience with Game of Thrones. I've only watched the TV shows and have never read the books.
I've read all of the books and seen on and off episodes up until I think I've seen up until season 4, and then I've seen on and off episodes and kept up with the clips online.
And I've seen both, and I'm rereading the series now. So, like, but I've been detached from both, so both of these people ground me, but I have more experience than both of them.
Yeah. Because, you got the books, I got the TV show, sort of, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
I binged all 50 episodes in a week and a half, so it's like...
Bastard, you said we would do that together someday.
But
just
us
crying over a week.
Oh, God, that was... I just went to... Oh, wow. I went to, and then I just, wrecked my glasses. Yeah. But, so besides the wall, down south and eastbound, we have Cersei. And Cersei Lannister...
She's going to do something drastic.
Yeah, because that's her last child. Her last child... Or, no, is Tommen?
Tommen's alive.
Tommen's alive.
Oh, yeah, Tommen's alive, but
Tommen's the king right now. He's pretty golden.
But I mean, Is Tommen technically considered Cersei's child? Yes?
Well, considering Tommen came from her vagina.
I can't remember if Tommen was Cersei's child, though.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He's not the king's child, though. He's not Robert's child. But that doesn't matter.
Oh, right, so he was the third and final child? Because it went Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen. Okay.
You know what passage from the book I found weird? When, it's when Cersei's talking about how she would never actually sleep with Robert. At one point she's like, "That's right, I ate all of your babies." I was like, "Ew." That made me feel weird inside. I cringe.
There were some memorable passages in the.
You know what Tyrion
the Sam sex passage. With Sam and Gilly on the boat.
Oh, damn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it doesn't, yeah.
And the very vivid descriptions of Daenerys when she's stuck in the grasslands and how bad her diarrhea is.
Go ahead.
I was... Fucking, I forget it. I was gonna talk about favorite passages. Oh, in the Battle of King's Landing where, he's, Tyrion's like, "Those are brave men out there! Let's kill them." You should, if you're not gonna read the books until a lot later, at least read
that passage.
No, at least read the Battle of King's Landing because it is so much more epic. The battles can have such a larger scale than the show does because it has
But just think about it though. On a scale of devoted TV time.
No, it does a good job.
Yeah.
But you don't understand how less of a job because there's a huge naval battle, and then they make that chain in the show they
Yeah.
still do. But what that chain ends up doing is all of the fucking like ships, all the crash ships and stuff are taken by the river and smashed up against the chain, and there's just a bridge of broken boats that people on horses and just people on foot are charging across.
Damn.
At
Doesn't one of the Kingsguards attempt to kill Tyrion on that bridge?
Yes, he does. Yeah, and so it's instead of on the thing, but like it's one of the Kingsguard that's standing beside Tyrion. He's like, "Those are brave men right there. Let's go kill them," because like they're on horses jumping from ship to ship to ship, all in knight's armor, like fucking coming to kill them. It's fantastic.
I think the book in general is. I think they're trying to do this on purpose too. The book in general is bigger, and they're trying to make the show smaller. I noticed this by they're putting a lot of characters together, like a lot of main characters in the same region, and having them meet each other where it doesn't happen in the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also as well as like cutting out certain arcs, like
Well,
the old.
It was even rumored that, because it's a 10-episode season, right? There was a story that popped up recently that one of the executives on the show was like, the final seasons could be shorter than 10 episodes.
No.
They could.
No.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like like you said, they're making a giant world more condensed and more.
They have to.
Yeah.
And they're putting characters where each character would have like their entire own plot line. They're putting them and they're connecting them with other plot lines. For example, Brienne meets a shit ton of people that she doesn't even see in the books.
Yeah.
And
And she never meets up with Arya. She never or the Hound. She never finds Sansa. Like she's just like can't find fucking anything. Podrick Payne falls off of out of all scope. He's not in it.
Oh, okay.
Past Tyrion running away. Bronn is the same way. What happens with Bronn is he goes and he marries fat chick McGee with the
some
lamprey
Lawless
pies.
thing. Lawless.
Yeah, the lamprey pie fat chick. And she goes to that castle, and he has the leader of the keep or castle or whatever, and him have a thing, and he's and the leader's like, "That's it, I want you out of here." And he's like, "Fine, lance me for it." And the joust, and he puts it into the other guy's horse. He falls and breaks his legs, and he takes out his dirk or the dagger, and basically it goes, "You're gonna leave." And then he's like, "House guards," and the house guards are like, "You should leave." And he basically now has a castle to himself.
Wow.
Or keep.
Bronn, yeah, Bronn is like a lord now.
Well, he was
works. He works his way up the chain pretty damn quickly.
Where was?
Doesn't?
Because Bronn went to Dorne with Jaime Lannister.
Not in the books.
Not in the
but
books.
in the TV show.
Yeah.
And they didn't show Bronn at all this episode.
No, they didn't.
So where did he go? I'm sure we'll find out eventually. But it's just Bronn's definitely one of my favorite characters. Those sort of douchey anti-heroes.
Well, they have to keep him in because he is one of those favorite characters.
Yeah.
If they just dropped his story like they do in the book, well, that's not very cool.
Yeah.
They keep up with the story a little bit in the book. Well, that's mostly because his character
is
that's
no
the nature
longer
of the book.
contributing to the plot.
No, that's because of the nature of the books, where they have the same sequence of events, but from two different halves of characters' perspectives.
Yeah.
And I guess he wasn't in. He wouldn't be in one of those books at all because all the characters that are in one are not in the other.
Yeah.
So
How do
there's
you?
that too.
So, do you like Jaime Lannister's character?
In the show?
Yeah. No. Well, here. Do you
Well-
like Jaime Lannister's character and Cersei's character? Because I have two opinions of both of them. Throughout the show,
They serve. I mean.
No.
wait.
Do you
Cersei?
like them as people?
As people, hell no.
You don't like either of them?
Cersei's a horrible person, but that's her point as a character. She is.
No, don't. That's not the question.
I like
Do
Jaime.
Not
I-
as,
do-
not as their
Yes,
person
I wear
at
the
all.
Lannister shirt. Do I like their characters? I like the purpose, but as a person, Cersei, no, I don't like.
What about
Cersei as a
respect? What
person.
about respecting them?
Yeah. Okay.
I respect Jaime Lannister as a person,
but do you like him as a person?
I could have a beer with him.
I feel like I'm trying to remember how his character's gone. I'd say Jaime I like as a persistent.
Done some heinous things,
He
but
has, but he's redeemed himself partly.
Okay, now you. So you like Jamie. What about Cersei?
Cersei, I wouldn't be able to like talk to her, but it'd be like
Do you like and respect her?
I can respect her in the same
You
way I
can't
respect
look.
like a villain.
Okay,
Yes,
because that's
yeah.
the same way. Because when you go through the books, and they're not built upon in the same way as in the show.
I respect her in the same way I respect the High Sparrow.
Yes. Okay, I like that because I like.
I
respect.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
I respect Cersei because in the book it shows everything that she's doing is directly just for her children.
Yes,
She's
yeah.
she's not out for self gain. She's out for the gain of her children.
Yeah, that's,
and that's
uh,
really well done in the books. Not so well in the show.
I mean,
pretty good.
I still see that as one of her prime motives was for her child,
Yeah,
her
but
children.
But it also looks a little bit more selfish in her part. And Jaime Lannister, I love how his character develops into that prick, into a guy that's trying to start to make
Yeah.
a difference.
He's very complicated.
Yeah, and that's what makes him so good. This is a character that you don't follow in the beginning of the book, and you see both of them as just primary villains, and then so many books in, you start to follow them, and I love how that can change your opinion on somebody. How books are very famous for, and stories and movies
Yeah.
are very famous for saying, this person is bad straight out and never changing that.
Yeah.
And it is very hard for a book, or so littly done, that you have your opinion changed on somebody.
But now
Well, it's
in this episode, they show
It's going the other way now. Again.
Well, it's like
in the books. In the books, they're more Cersei and Jaime are a little more estranged. But this one, they meet up together. They're together again.
Yeah.
More well, I don't know if they're like still sexually together. They might have.
In the books?
No, in the show, in this
they
episode,
probably will.
maybe.
Maybe it depends really what happens, right? Because this is only the first episode. We only see a little piece
I don't
of
know.
what happens between those.
Sometimes
two
you can go
characters.
through things and just just sort of turns you off forever.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going this way, but in the books, it's clearly like she tries to fuck him in like the Lord Commanders of the Kingsguard thing, and he's like, nah, not here.
Yeah.
And like leaves.
Well, it's like, but also I feel like I've noticed Jaime Lannister, when not around Cersei, is the more likable character. Like he tries to do things, to redeem himself. But when he's around,
she's the corrupting influence almost.
Yes, she is just turning him into like just a bad egg.
And that's why
much.
he leaves
Yeah.
in the books,
Yeah.
because he understands this.
He may. It depends on how they obviously.
But
take
now
it,
they're back
they
together.
Might, yeah, like,
And I don't know how it's
think-
gonna go.
rejoining he'll either go one way or the other.
No,
the
I
end
think
of the
that they're
season.
firmly gonna stay together
All right.
in the
I'm
show.
gonna make a bold prediction here. All right. Cersei is going to go on an absolute rampage.
Okay.
This may or may not be triggered by Tommen dying. After which, Jaime is going to be high by her side up until she does something absolutely unforgivable.
Yeah.
In which case he's going to have to stop her, or make the choice between himself as a person
Yeah.
and herself.
Well, we'll see you in 5
Possibly.
weeks,
Possibly.
and then in
True.
10 weeks.
Possibly involving maybe Brienne, because he and her have that sort of connection
Yeah.
where she's one of the few other people that he really cares about.
Well, I feel like
So if
If-
Cersei
yeah.
orders her execution or something of the like.
I think if something like that happens and Jaime Lannister is forced to choose, I think he may go to where I think Sansa and Brienne and Podrick and Theon are going to go. Cause
To the wall?
no, they're not going. They may.
You never know.
So okay, let's,
Yeah, we
let's
don't-
start from
okay,
the beginning.
Stannis ended up on the wall. That
He
wasn't
did.
expected.
Their current motive. That was before it was under the assumption that Theon was going to sacrifice himself. Now that they're back together, and it's like, okay, let's think of a plan. If they do go to the wall, they may probably meet Sir Davos if he leaves. We'll see what happens with that story. But
He's not leaving. He's
No,
he's
probably
gonna
not.
have. They're gonna fight.
but if they go to the wall and find out, shit, bad juju, let's get out of here, right? Because we know that the Riverlands are coming back in this season, and we know that David Bradley, one of my favorite actors, aka Alder Frey, He's coming back this season. I think Sansa and that little group will end up in the Riverlands and possibly stir up another hoorah, like, revolution against the throne. Maybe not to that degree, but they will, I think for sure, those will be the characters that go there. And possibly get revenge for the Red Wedding.
See, in the book, that would be impossible because Jaime's arc takes him to directly stop all those revolts. Because what he does is he goes to Riverrun, he ends the siege there by having it occupied, he gets everything done respectively. Same thing with a few other places all over, like in the Riverlands and stuff.
Yeah, it's just him sort of calmly and orderly crushing rebellions.
But we
just all these sort of cleaning up after.
Like, we don't know. Well, literally since the Red Wedding, we don't know what happened to the Riverlands.
The only places that have the ability to revolt now are the Eyrie and possibly the North, because the Karstark army moved back, which was half of the Rob's forces. So
and what about Dorne?
Dorne is a possibility, especially in the
show
now.
Let's talk about Dorne now, because
especially in the show,
the king is dead.
Yeah,
the king is
because
dead.
Prince
Yeah.
Prince is dead. Because of all that happening,
Prince is dead.
They have an ability, but I don't know about their
R.I.P. Prince.
forces. But yeah, the Eyrie is the only person who can would be able to put any fight up because of number one, their
Peter
castle.
Baelish
Lord?
is
Yeah,
he still
he's the
running
lord
the
of
Eyrie?
the Eyrie now.
Does he have the support of the people?
See, what happens in the books is he's like, so here's what's gonna happen. So Lisa's dead, that sucks and everything, but like, I'm accomplished, I've done all this, and what I'm proposing to you is, give me a year. Give me a year to sort things out, do what I can, and you, because like, there's a bunch of heads of houses and stuff, and he's like...
Yeah, the Royces are the biggest house, and they're sort of itching at him.
Yeah, no, well, there's a lot of them that were doing it, and he worms his way, he's like, well, give me a few years, I forget what it is, and watch how I do it. If it's not satisfactory, if I can't do the job, take me out of power. Which is basically like, yeah, so he gains that control. He is Lord of the Eyrie, and he's going to be able to do a good job of it.
Because I'd really like to see Peter Baelish get shit done as an actual full lord with all those powers, because I like seeing that. I like seeing the powerful characters with the armies, right?
Do you know who the... Okay.
Like, because everybody else is just like, you know, sort of lost in the woods, running from something or whatnot.
I have another question for you guys. Who, in your guys' opinions, are the two most, I don't know if I want to use the word powerful or influential, or,
I'd say
have the most sway, are able to manipulate the whole story the most?
Varys.
Not
Two
Varys.
people. Two people.
Okay, Varys and... any character.
Any character.
Okay, Varys and...
There's a difference between influence and real power, though. I wouldn't say Varys has...
He
Varys
has
is definitely
influence and he has
influential.
power.
But I mean, if somebody...
In a sense, he has a power in a different
If
sense.
somebody just decided to turn against him,
he
wouldn't be able to do anything.
But here's the thing. That's... Okay,
He's completely reliant on people liking him.
We can look at
needing him.
Cersei when she's with Littlefinger and like talking about like how like she's explaining real power, how she could like she tells those 4 guards to do all this. Turn around, close your eyes, kill him. Oh, never mind, I changed my mind.
I think my second person would almost be the High Sparrow.
Maybe.
Thing with this, first off,
to see
Jonathan
his
Price. Also one of my favorite actors.
He looks like scarily like Pope Francis.
He does. There is, I've seen the side by side photos of Pope Francis.
Like they've got the same. They've got the same forehead.
Receding hairline, sort of. But like, think of it this way: with those two characters I picked, High Sparrow, like before High Sparrow and the cult, right? Or religious zeal or cult. But before that, things in King's Landing were going a certain way, and all of a sudden he shows up and just shakes the whole shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's just like blah, 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 blah.
Him and the Inquisition in the books is one of the most
that's like influence.
gut-churning sort of things, because you don't know because he just comes out of nowhere and like imprisons the queen, both of the queens, and sort of mildly tortures them until
I don't think he gets Marjorie, does he, in the books?
I can't remember if he gets
I don't
Marjorie.
think he gets Marjorie.
She's definitely under questioning.
Yes.
But he's got them all under this trial,
Mm-hmm.
and all these characters that you thought were incredibly powerful.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden...
And then all of a sudden, now they're locked in a cell.
Yeah, and her brother is actually almost dead because Cersei sent him to fight at Storm's End. Yes, Storm's End.
Loras dies in the books, doesn't he?
He dies or is dying?
I'm pretty sure
He
he
dies.
just dies.
He dies. Yeah, he
Oh,
does
wait.
die.
Early on in the
Because
series.
he gets like, no, it's not early on. It's when, like it's when Cersei's trying to get Marjorie for something, and like so she sends Loras to die, and he gets like covered in boiling oil and shot a few times with arrows. Anyway, who are your two most influential?
Most influential or most powerful? I'd just say the most powerful at this point. Well, Cersei still has control over King's Landing, I'd say, through Tommen.
No,
Yes and
because
no,
Marjorie has control of Tommen.
Not even.
No, because
And-
Marjorie's in prison.
Like
And who
if
gets
you
made?
think- High Sparrow, I think, is the most powerful person in King's
Could-
Landing because he has the power of the people.
That's true.
The people can revolt.
But he
He
only
has
has the power of the people within
That's
King's
true.
Landing.
Yes,
The
yeah.
king, the throne's reach has to spread all across
Yeah.
the continent.
But he doesn't have the knights, and he doesn't have
No.
He is nice.
the gold. He has those like
He
fucking
has his
whatever.
own, his like cult, like zealous.
But Kevin Lannister in the books is it's king of the hand of the king, so he has the power
Oh.
there.
Kevin, yeah. We haven't seen much of him
He's-
since.
You see him more in the books, and here's the
Yeah.
thing:
His personality isn't one to. He doesn't want to rule. He's not cut out for leadership.
But he
I
has
can
to.
tell.
when I my favorite two most influential, I think, is Varys,
Mhm.
Peter Baelish. Now, because here's the thing: I strictly believe I did an essay on why Peter Baelish. It's for school. This is for school, but I had to do it. It was for an exam, but it's of the books we
Fucking
read for
nerd.
English. But it was why it was why Peter Baelish.
Peter Baelish.
It's why Peter Baelish was the catalyst for the War of the Five Kings, and I had to explain it. Now I can't fucking tell you why I did it now, but it had worked. But I think it's him and Varys because
Yeah.
in the small snippet you get of Book 6, Winds of Winter, Kevin Lannister, like it's snowing in King's Landing, and Kevin Lannister's there, and he's just doing his thing, and then he
He's
gets
dead?
killed. He gets killed, and like he's
Spoilers.
like he stumbles. Oh, sorry, spoilers was put at the beginning. He stumbles and he turns around, and Varys is standing there. And he's like,
Varys kills Kevin?
now I'm gonna
No.
fucking blow your mind here.
I don't think I read this.
Yeah. Anyway, so he goes there and he's like, I'm sorry, I'm doing it for the good of the realm. I'm helping something the Targaryens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
We all know that.
But he's
from
not. He doesn't do that. He doesn't follow Tyrion, right? He is not with fucking what's her name, fucking Dragon Queen. He is not with Aegon. Not with any of them.
Mm.
But he reappears in King's Landing in this snippet to kill Kevin Lannister for the Targaryens. Like,
Which Targaryen?
Daenerys.
no, you don't know.
Oh, that's right. There's the secret baby thing in the
Yeah.
book.
Well, he's not a baby. He's a man.
Now, with blue hair. Anyway, so here's the thing.
Okay.
He has the power to. He basically wrong because he was the Lord of Spiders. He could whisper whatever information he wanted to anybody's ear. He knew everything. Knowledge is power in this thing because
Mm.
He knows
There's-
everything.
But he has no independence. His power is completely
Yeah.
reliant on
there
other
are
people.
3 powers. There's not just power in Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's
there
what,
are
that's
3
why I asked,
types
like,
of powers.
What, like, how do you define power?
There is
Yeah.
knowledge, there is battle strength, and then there is influence.
Yeah.
The king has the numbers, the battle strength, and influence, but doesn't have knowledge.
But you got to
You
think
have
of how much
Varys-
of a grasp they have on the power too.
Yes, you have Varys, knowledge and influence. You have Peter Baelish, straight up.
Who has all 3, but not a close hold on them because he has.
He has all
completely-
3, but at the exact same fucking time, he has none of them. and he
His
uses
little fingers
this.
can't hold on to it.
He uses this ability of having it and not having it to build and start to grasp them. He starts with nothing and then he starts to grasp. Oh, and should we say the fourth power is money? Because I don't think so. No.
Influence is
More
money
or
is
less.
power.
Money is
a
just
form
a
of
tool.
power. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's not a power. Anyway,
Well, that's Peter Baelish though. Peter Baelish has money.
I think
he has the knowledge to
the most
gain
the most
influence.
truly powerful character in the show, or in both of them, was what's his name? The Lannister father.
Tywin
Tywin
Lannister.
He got
Was
killed.
was the most powerful character. in
Who
the show.
got, yeah, he was the most powerful person on the show.
Until he gets shot on the toilet.
Until he gets shot. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it, that's a pretty badass moment when Tyrion executes his father on a toilet. I'm like,
What?
True.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
like, you're not taking that whore, blah, blah, blah. Do not call her that again. What? Whore? You shot me. Oh, yes. Good. Father, you were always good at grasping the obvious.
Yeah, that was... And so, let's turn our attentions from Westeros to Essos.
To be honest, I am... In the 5th book, Tyrion's story arc, I liked it, but it was starting to drag on. But
I got that a little bit
The
too.
5th book, the complete 5th book is another first book. It's another setup book. Because if you read the first book, it's slow compared to a Storm of Swords or Feast for Crows. It is a slow book.
You can definitely see there's like a cycle.
Yeah, and because it sets up, but it's so important to set everything up.
Well,
And
originally the books were supposed to end at the 3rd book originally.
No, I think it was 5 books. Then it got to
No,
7.
it was supposed to be 3, and then he just expanded it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Because I mean, the first book came out in I think the 80s. So this is an old
It's
series.
an old series.
I actually have the original.
It's
cover.
just picking up. It's just picking up now.
Yeah. Anyway, so what? So the whole 5th book is mainly in Essos, but it's a large setup book, and it's very slow compared
I like
to them.
it.
But that's
no,
like
I
the
liked
first
it,
book by the
but
sounds of
it's hitting the lull to get spike next thing.
It's
Like-
introducing new characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's, but eastwards.
I
It'll be-
like the 5th book because it has some of the best passages on the wall.
That's the original cover.
Okay.
No, I like it. I hate how on books the
It looks really fantasy coverish.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like every other fantasy cover.
well
Honestly, I'd gloss over that in a bookstore.
Just like Game of Thrones, yeah.
Yeah. It's got some dude on horseback.
Oh, I've seen that one before.
Oh man.
But
Let's
I like
use CGIs for a cover. That always turns out great. Looks halfway to becoming one of those romance novel covers.
yeah, it's just missing a shirtless dude under a tree with
Oh,
a
yeah.
picnic bag.
You know the ones I'm talking about.
So
Let's go to
Daenerys. All right, well, we'll do Dorne in a second. But so Daenerys.
Didn't we already do Dorne?
No, we haven't done Dorne at all.
We talked about Marcella. And
Ah,
that was
yeah.
it.
And the story, how
And
the story
and the
is
prince,
converged.
and the prince and
no.
the future heir is dead. By the way, that was a
In the
savage,
show.
savage kill.
Oh,
savage
Jesus.
kill. Right through the base of the skull and out
Back
the
in the-
face.
I thought he
God.
was. At first, I thought he was like you. I thought he was gonna fight his way out of it.
No, I knew. I'm like,
Well,
these people are
I had-
treacherous.
How can you fight somebody inside with a whip?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
But that's
right?
why he chose her. It was manipulative. And I'm like, I saw where that was going. I'm like, she's got the giant sword. She's just gonna... I mean, I honestly thought it was just gonna go through the back and like that. Didn't see the face coming at all. That was
No.
like...
It was kind of like face huggers. Not
Yeah,
face
but-
huggers. It was kind of like the alien face.
Yeah.
It's like.
But I'd say that was the most surprising death for
Yeah.
me. Like, just all of a sudden, knife to the, the giant
Spear.
guard.
Spear. Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah, because the
No.
big guard, like, who from, like, last season was like, oh shit, he's a badass.
I was,
And
as soon as the scene started, I was like, something's gonna go down because I'm surprised he didn't already get word of Marcelia. And as soon as the messenger came up, I was like, shit's going down.
Yeah, because
now
you saw the face on like they're all like
no.
each
As
other.
soon as I saw the guy walking up, I was like, all right, this is going down this scene.
Yeah. But just all of a sudden, knife to the chest. I'm like, damn.
As soon as
I wouldn't say I saw it coming, but I had the feeling that that his time was limited from the books. But
just by
I was surprised to see him walking.
Yeah.
Well, he was hobbling.
Still, I think he's like completely crippled in the books.
Well,
isn't he? He like
no, he's got gout. He's got like really bad gout.
But I'd say that he might have like
he could walk. It would just be extremely painful. So
he says with his sweater vest on.
No. But
The reckoning is at hand.
yeah.
why would you let a man choose his fate before stabbing him through the back of the face?
But it'll be
But
interesting where Dorn goes, because obviously, you know,
who's in charge now?
she is. I think she's just gonna hold full blown take
Man.
over.
I think that
All
would
the
be,
guards just watching this
Yeah.
go down, and I was like, okay, that's
Just based on that,
I think
the army, the guards.
she is one of the whoever takes control of Dorne is going to be one of the most powerful characters in the show.
No,
and
I don't
big
think
wild
so.
card.
I
Yeah,
think
on the same if they decide to do something with it,
Yes.
because they were not involved in the War of the Five Kings.
Yeah.
They've got their entire army. Not a single man of it was killed from the war. Everyone else is exhausted from this.
You can say the
massive
same
conflict.
thing about the Greyjoys. And I think maybe Dorne is taking the Greyjoys' place.
The Greyjoys
in
are
the
a
books.
lot smaller though,
But if you read the
and
books,
plus they did take
their
parts.
naval is just Navy is ridiculously large.
they have a navy, but they can't do anything on land with a navy.
They don't want anything on land.
But that's what I mean.
They just
want the
literally
coast.
the Greyjoys live to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the books they fucked over. That's why I asked earlier about what happened to Theon's sister, because in the book she
She's still
launches
alive
a
in the
one-person
TV show.
war on the north.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Ooh.
well in the TV show. That was pretty much what Theon did.
She conquers like 3 castles in like the span of
That's
a couple
what-
chapters.
That's what
Yeah.
Theon did in the TV show. He took a bunch of spots in the north and took
No,
over
he does that in the
Winterfell.
books too, but
Yeah.
this is like farther into them.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
And she does that, and she starts to hold them, and then
In the books, there's conflict in the Iron Islands too, because there's
bid for power.
there's like a sort of not a civil war.
But Balon dies, and
Balon dies,
Oh,
and then
okay.
Euron comes out of nowhere and like I think he strangles a bunch of people. I think he literally strangles a person in a bathtub.
Oh,
And,
damn.
And like
Oh,
nobody
that's-
does anything about it because he's just such a scary menace. He's a Viking warlock.
Oh.
That's his character, and he's one of the most twisted.
Does he cut off his arm or something? What does he do?
He removes his eye, I think.
No, it's his arm.
No, he's got
Why
both
would he
arms.
cut off his arm? That's silly.
No, I'm
Really?
fucking thinking about Star Wars, like fucking.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
I'm thinking about the Yuuzhan Vong War.
Like what? Why'd you take off your own arm in a world like that? Like, you would
Yeah.
literally make yourself useless.
Yeah, no.
Like, yeah.
What? Like he.
But I think he like, because he goes to, he comes back from his voyage, like at the exact time when Balon dies. He comes back from his voyage from Karth,
Yes.
and he drank the drink of the warlocks over there.
Oh.
And so he's got this ship filled with almost demons.
Okay.
They're like these people, but they're like
Nah.
Not.
they're sketchy. They're sketchy crew, and he's got like a. I wouldn't say he's like magical, but everything about him is just sort of eerie and off.
So he's a warlock. He's a warlock.
He's he's got
Warlocks are eerie
he's got
and
the
off.
blue lips. He's got the blue lips of the
Oh,
like
yeah.
or the
Yeah.
warlocks from Karth.
Yeah.
And so he shows up and he takes over, and he sends his younger brother Victarion to meet with Queen Daenerys and to take her as a wife.
Okay.
Oh yes.
And
yes.
then
that's how
along the
that
way
works.
he like has some various adventures. That's another arc that I quite really enjoyed.
Well, it's like
And
when he's
he meets
fighting-
he meets a red priest, too.
they're adding a second one. There was someone else casted as another fire priestess.
A priestess.
Yeah, because there's a few more in the books.
Yeah. Because
that
we
we
got
talk about a few times.
Yeah,
Because-
because we caught a glimpse of that last season where the influence of that whole religion or whatever you call it. Because remember when Tyrion was when he was on his voyage through Essos, he saw like one of the fire priestess spreading the word of, was it Rulor or Ralor?
R'hllor, yeah.
R'hllor, yeah.
What I really
but
like-
there's the thing. I've told you this before, and I don't know if I told you this, but I believe the Song of Ice and Fire is indirectly saying like the whole story is a fight between R'hllor and the Old Gods.
And the Knights. I was thinking it was between the Old Gods because are hardly mentioned,
No,
except for the
last book they come in so much though, and like when Bran, like if you've read the books, all three of you, if any of you three have read the books.
I always thought it was between the Night's King and R'hllor.
Well, but there's the thing. R'hllor is
Because the old
evil
gods aren't-
and good at the same time, and the old gods are the same. Because the gods are kind of like Greek gods, where they have their own motives. I don't know if that's how way I'm gonna say it, but like.
Well, I think R'hllor is... R'hllor's, the Red Religion is very interesting because in the books you've got three different views of it, right? You've got three priests, and they're all very, very different views of this religion. You've got Melisandre, the Red Woman, and her view of the religion, which
Not
is
really
what
the
you
Red
get
Woman
most
anymore, as
Well,
we found out.
Jesus!
The
no.
saggy
the
old
gray-
woman.
the Grey Woman. And you've got Thoros of Myr, who's also a very different view of the religion, and you've also got this next guy that Victarion picks up in the middle of the ocean on like an island or whatever, who's this very, very esoteric, spiritual, almost like a shaman sort of character, and very wise, doesn't talk a lot, and he helps he sort of brings him to. I think he puts like not a curse, but like a mark on Victarion's
That's
body.
what I was thinking of. Yeah.
He puts like a mark on Victarion's body, which gives him like strength or magic powers.
But
or
like if
something
it
that.
goes too far, it will corrupt and kill him or something.
I can't.
I think that's what it is.
No,
Anyway.
that might be from Princess Mononoke you're thinking of.
No, I don't think so because I
Maybe.
never watched that. It might
Oh,
also
you
still
should.
again be from Star Wars, but but like I think it's a war between the two because like ice and fire, old gods and whatnot. But like in
The old gods aren't associated with ice though. Only the
But
the
they're
White
the-
Walkers.
yeah,
No, let's
but then
think-
the northern
Let's
gods and
think
all
about
this.
this. You're
And the White Walkers
everything.
are often referenced as as some sort of evil gods.
Only really by the wild things.
Let's think
No.
about it this way. All these stories, this big war, this symbolic war, fire and ice, it literally means absolutely nothing in the end if the White
Because
Walkers
it's fiction.
win. Yeah. just think of it. All these stories, it's kind of like
No, it would
it's
mean
like,
something.
It's like a TV show I watched called Revolution, where there was only 2 seasons. It actually had a solid ending. There was 2 seasons where first season's like this big war with people and like, oh, huzzah, huzzah, all this character development. Second season, all this character development, and in the end, it meant shit because in the end, an unavoidable ending occurred.
No, I'm
It's
perfectly
like-
okay with that. Like
Yeah.
it's like the ending of 1984.
Yeah,
It was
There's-
what should have
yeah,
happened.
it was a
and I love
real
that.
ending because
And see, there's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, if the White Walkers win, so fucking be it. I would
Yeah.
love that ending because it's once again George R.R. Martin saying, "Fuck the fan," because that is the
Because
best feeling I have is when I'm taking this is gonna happen. TV shows, books, all this stuff. I can say
I'd be really unsatisfied with that ending, honestly.
but that's a real.
I don't
those are the
care if
kind-
you're unsatisfied because
That's just
who
how
cares
it,
about the
yeah,
plot.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy book.
Oh, it's a fantasy book.
There's
So it's a book, and
It's not
it's gonna
supposed to be
rip your
realistic.
heart out and fucking beat it up.
But that's what I mean. Like I think
I think there are better endings.
No,
if
there is. There
people
definitely
don't-
is, and
like,
I would not be as happy with that ending.
Because
but
if
I
the White
would
Walkers
respect
win,
it.
it's basically human extinction,
Yes.
right?
Well, the thing is, they can't get out of
entire-
Westeros.
Yeah, they can figure it. They're ice creatures. They can just freeze the water and move over to Essos.
I don't think they want to though.
But we don't know the extent of what the Night's King wants. Like we don't know
I'm pretty sure his whole goal is to kill everybody on the
everything.
planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And which would be a pretty boring way to end it off.
Well,
Is
but
to
just
have,
like
because
I feel like
what
if-
do White Walkers do
besides
when
kill.
there's no humans?
Well,
Right?
it's like zombies.
Do they just like a zombie apocalypse?
I don't mean to. We are not departing into a whole zombie podcast, which we'll eventually do. But it's just like, it's a disease, and its only purpose is to reproduce and spread.
Mm.
It doesn't. It's if there's a single vessel.
They're
that can
shown
be
to be
conquered,
intelligent,
They are intelligent,
so they have
but they
motives.
don't have like culture.
You don't know that. There's so little given about them that you don't know anything about them.
Yeah,
You can't say they don't have culture.
If
You
you
can't
had-
say that they aren't intelligent.
if they
You can't
had
say
culture-
anything about them.
you'd kind of know about it a little bit more, right?
No.
I don't think a species that isn't devoted entirely to their cause
magic.
would be able to stay away and keep themselves so secretive for so long, because there'd be disagreement between White Walkers. At least one of them would at least try to go talk to humans, and there would be at least some contact between them. But no, they're absolutely focused.
Well, look at the
absolutely
Children of the
centralized.
Forest. It's the exact same story with them.
Well, but
But
originally
they-
they did mingle with humans,
Yeah, but
and then they got
but they've still been for thousands of years. The same time as the White Walkers, they've been hidden, and they have a culture and they're intelligent.
Like, I'm sure over the course of presumably the final couple seasons, presumably if they're only going to do, if there's going to be 7 books, then 7 seasons,
No, there's going to be more seasons.
I'd say yeah.
Because I think they had to cut the
The
third book
season-
into 2
Yeah.
seasons.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so,
they're gonna keep making
alright,
seasons
so let's
until he
say
dies.
under 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And then
Under-
afterwards.
Yeah, so
They're gonna milk
say-
this fucker.
Oh yeah.
under 10 seasons. Like, 10 seasons would
Yeah.
be the max for this show. I feel like, I don't know, the
If
show
you-
could go on forever.
I can see if the White Walker ending happens, it would happen in the book, but not in the show.
All right, that is fair because
If it was
It's-
going, I don't think
yeah.
it will.
the show.
Actually, it could, but if it's going to, it's going to happen in the book.
Yeah, but the show is I can start to see it pandering a bit to the fans.
Oh, I could
Because-
see that a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well-
that's what I don't like. Like, it has the big deaths. It's Rob gets slaughtered, Eddard gets killed. Because that's really the attraction of Game of Thrones, but they still want they still want a TV show. But with the books, it's George R.R. Martin's deliberate saying, this is the story I want, and has no influence that's changing that.
It's one guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And if he
that's-
wanted, I'm sorry, I'm almost done. If he wanted if he from the very beginning said it's all for naught because the White Walkers are going to win, he's never going to be influenced by that.
Mm.
That is one thing that he has shown, is that he does not get influenced.
Well, and another thing too, he likes the TV show.
It is.
He has a role in producing it, and
Yeah.
he specifically says he wants it to go on 2 different paths.
Oh yeah, which this discussion,
Which is making money
some
from the
things
same
I'm like,
franchise twice.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's going to be spin-offs. I can't wait for those spin-offs. Those spin-offs are going to be great. And those spin-offs, I can see
Every
movies
massive
happening.
TV show is
I'm holding
always
out for
gets-
Sir Barristan the Bold.
a Severus in the Bold, but a Varys and Illyrio when they were young thieves spin-off.
Yes.
When
that
they were
would be cool
thieves
too.
in Mirror, and Illyrio was the muscle, and Varys was the sort of spy master with
Okay.
this army
building his web as
this
it were.
army of little urchins that would rob people.
Oh,
when they were
He's called the Spider, but he talks about little birds all the time.
The birds are going to sing.
Mm.
But it's like, that's any TV show though. Back on your point, where pandering. Well, I mean, my example, because I know this. the
I'm not
best
blaming
is-
them for
No,
it.
but it's like, yeah, it's like The Walking Dead. There are some characters you know
Who died?
here and there. In the end, no one knows.
Oh.
There's 9 characters that it could be, or 8 characters, because some characters are
Is the season
confirmed
over?
safe. Yeah. Did podcast.
What?
Uh,
I thought it just started.
No,
Oh,
it
come
started in.
Let's get it back to this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, so like it's like any massive TV show, like Breaking Bad or like, or Walking
Breaking
Dead.
Bad does not pander to anybody. It just fucking rips out your heart and stabs it. It's like Caesar.
But but it's like, yeah, some characters will last. Like Tyrion, he's a massive draw. He's gonna last.
Ah? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't. I think if he dies in the books, he will die in the show. Oh, maybe no. I can't really say that.
Yeah,
But
because we don't know.
we have
I think
we have seen that they'll kill off super popular characters. Eddard was popular. Robb Stark was super popular.
Not as popular. Not as popular as Tyrion.
No, not
No,
Eddard.
like based
Eddard
on
wasn't.
but
Eddard
if you
wasn't, but
take
Robb
it-
Stark was.
If you discount every
Jon
other
Snow
season that
was.
just happened between Tyrion and Eddard Stark, only in the first season, like it's definitely like from the beginning, Tyrion is definitely a likable character, and like everyone loves Tyrion, but
He's a
Eddard-
self-insert character.
Yeah, but Eddard Stark was like
His responsibility and
he was like the guy that like
Sean Bean's
everyone-
inevitable end.
yeah everyone would gravitate to until he got his head lopped off, and it's like, oh shit, this is the show I'm getting into for the rest of like the next decade. Like
And the thing was, there was such a good response by the community to not tell anybody about that death until it happened.
Mm.
It really depends though where you go, because there are some parts of the community that spoil.
That are assholes.
Yeah.
Like Han Solo dies.
yeah.
It's
been months.
It's been months.
Fuck off if you haven't seen it. You're still afraid of the spoiler. It's on DVD. It's in my shelf.
Like, didn't you get that ruined by a GIF?
Yeah, like a week before like a week before in advance, I saw a GIF of that scene.
But here's the thing, like
I wasn't too bothered though.
The wherever that was posted, fans of the books tore it down.
Yeah.
Like, it was very self-moderated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's always going to be assholes. Well, not anymore. Now it's the TV show fans that have, for those who refuse to watch the show until the book is out.
There's no point
Yeah.
anymore. No point.
Because
You can't
it's
spoil
separate
it because
stories.
it's too different.
It's two separate entities altogether. Yeah.
Man,
I think it was like a parallel universe almost sort of idea.
I love how they started off with the Jon Snow thing. They're like,
Oh.
alright, they've been crying, they've been sobbing, they've been blubbering jackasses for like forever.
And we're gonna drag it on.
Yeah, no, that whole opening scene, it was like,
All right, let's just give it. Never mind.
Here. No, it's like when you're fishing, you're like, you put up the lead, and it's like the fishes come for you. You're just like, and you wait.
like the constantly like that whole intro.
They're gonna
was,
tease it out for a while.
Oh yeah,
I'd say episode 5 is probably when Jon Snow will be declared live or dead. Like,
no,
what do
he's
you
been declared dead.
we don't know what the
Red Woman might do
His
something.
actor
yeah.
was on set for far longer than it takes to play a corpse.
Yeah, but they could also be doing that just to fuck with us.
I was
that's
thinking that too, but you still got to pay the actors. And how
Yeah.
much are you really going to spend on this?
Well, how much are they willing?
Don't fuck with my mind anymore, man. I have closure. Fucking drop it.
But same thing though with The Walking Dead, with all the characters up in the air. To hide that spoiler, they gotta keep certain people around, right?
Mm.
So it's like, but
But you got to pay for their time, right?
Yeah,
Because Kit
yeah.
Harington could be working on another movie
could
in the
yeah.
time that it takes for him to hang around for an entire season, right?
Mm.
What's he going to do, right? Just
Yeah.
sit
Little-
around eating donuts,
Yeah.
looking fully dressed in case any paparazzi show up?
Yeah.
Little tidbit for you. When in the first season, I think maybe the first episode, when the Theon, Jon Snow, and Robb are all getting like they're shaving and everything,
Yeah.
getting ready for the king and stuff. Like, you know how they're all shirtless and like sweaty and all that.
Mhm.
All three of them just tried to be as manly as possible for that. They did sit-ups till they threw up, and they got all sweaty and everything, and they were all flexing throughout that whole thing just to try and look manlier than the others.
Well, actually, the rumors are, because we know certain characters that are returning this season. Rumors were that Sean Bean was on set for a flashback scene.
Ooh.
His
Yeah,
name doesn't rhyme, it bothers me.
Sean Cease.
Scene Bean was on set for a
Sean Bean.
flashback
That's
scene.
why he dies. It's the universe just fucking like, why?
But the thing is, though, he doesn't die in bad movies. It's in good movies that he's in that he dies. Like most of
That's
so it's
true.
like
The Martian?
I never saw it. Never saw Martian yet.
Bing, 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 bing. Theory
So-
shot down.
What other,
Has to resign, that's about it.
what about,
Like, he plays a lot of villains. Like,
Has
if
there
you
been
look
any
back-
flashback? I don't think there's been any flashback
Nope.
scenes.
No, this would be the first flashback scene.
There is the only time there's
Alright.
ever a flashback in the whole, like even the books, is when Bran goes up north and sees his father through the weirwood tree,
Which also,
which is probably what it's gonna be.
Bran.
Still hasn't been seen.
Yeah,
Where's-
we know
where is
we know he's back this season, but when's he gonna be back? And in what
And how?
capacity is he gonna be back?
What's
it'll
he
be-
gonna do?
He's going up the north to become the new old god.
Yeah, because we know the three-eyed ravens back, because Max von Sydow is casted for his role on that. So, what any lasting predictions, like, or any final points you guys would like to make?
I want to say something about Doran's death, right?
Okay.
Because when she said that, the first thing that I thought of when she said that he had done nothing for his kingdom, in the book, it sort of points out how they glossed over the whole Quentin Martell arc, because in the books he secretly had this plan with Varys for years to smuggle Quentin Martell into Essos, to have him married to Daenerys, have Daenerys come over and help them out for whatever reason, I think to overthrow the crown. And he has this secret plan and he keeps it under wraps, and that sort of reveals the entirety of his character, because he's always been portrayed as sort of a coward, right? A very conservative, very play it by the books, never raise your armies for anything, sort of cowardly. But it all reveals in the end that he had this plan in the back of his mind where this is what I'm doing to help. And in the book, it just sort of, or in the show, it just sort of doesn't happen. But they could easily put that arc back into it if they cast a Quentin Martell and they sort of revealed that he had this plan the whole time. Or maybe Varys could reveal it because he was half of the plan in the first place. But that's a possible prediction that they could do. But I've heard it might be too far along in the story for it.
Yeah.
Because Quentin gets killed by the dragons.
Oh.
But this is also a different storyline.
True. Yeah.
So
It'll be interesting.
I
where it
think-
goes.
If I have any predictions, I think Jon Snow's dead. He's staying dead.
Okay.
I had wished, I had hoped, and I had thought, like you guys said that you also thought it, that he'd be brought back by the Red Woman. Nope.
I think he's going to be brought back, and that will relieve him of his debt to the Night's Watch. Well, one, because they betrayed him, but two, because you're a member of the Night's Watch until you're dead.
Yeah.
But he's completely free of his vows, and I think
Died.
that would have
Too easy of
him-
a plot to, well, it's TV.
Yeah.
I think Peter Baelish is going to come into a much bigger part in a few episodes, and I think he's not going to go to war, but he's going to play side on one, because I think the North is trying to rally, and the Lannisters are trying to rally, because the North went against them in that thing. And I don't know which side that Peter Baelish will play, because he's completely out for himself, and he's already ditched Sansa. And I think the Lannisters will win that war, because Sansa's gone, will stay gone, and the North will not rise.
I think whatever side Peter Baelish picks, the Sparrows will be on the other side of it. Just by the nature, not just by the nature of their characters, but by the nature of what sides they tend to pick.
I don't think they're going to be involved, because they don't have... It's going to be the Lannisters, not the Sparrows. And in that thing, I think Cersei's going to struggle to gain back power, but is never going to get it.
I think
Jaime's just going to be... I can't say anything for Jaime.
Cersei might regain her power.
Nope.
I think the mountain's just going to be her Frankenstein killing monster and just like probably butcher a bunch of other characters.
But that's not political power. That's not influence.
No, but she's
That's
gonna
not
take
even
out
battle
anyone.
force. That is
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah, it'll turn it into, they'll just move the capital.
Yeah.
She can maybe have a control over King's Landing, but then everybody who escapes would be the government in exile, and they just move to... What about the Tyrells?
Tyrells.
They're in a mess. They're in a mess, but
Because where would they move the capital to? They'd probably
Highgarden.
either move it to...
Highgarden.
Yeah.
Highgarden?
Well, what I think is Marjorie's gonna come out, get out, and by dragging Cersei down,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
because it was her that put her in there, right? Yeah.
And the brother thing's throwing me for a loop because he just dies. He's not in like this far in the books.
We'll find out because he was casted for other projects. Like he's playing Iron Fist
Oh yeah.
in the Marvel.
Maybe
Netflix
that's why
world.
she has many more miles to go until he can get back on set.
Yeah. So, but I think two things. My points. I think, because we're gonna see the Riverlands, and I really want to see what shit's gone down since. I think personally, Walder Frey's probably just done horrible things. I think because he was on the Lannister side of the Red Wedding.
He's the Riverlands equivalent of Bolton, of the
Yes.
Boltons.
Yeah, so I think he's going to have a greater capacity of control over it. And just from casting pictures, Sam's father looks like a douche. Sam's father's coming into this.
He is a douche.
Oh, I don't know from the books, but from just the casting picture, I'm like,
He's
yeah,
a lot like,
he's
in the
gonna
books,
be-
he's a lot like Tywin.
Yeah.
okay.
Except, like, less personality.
It's
Walking.
He's not as he's
Instead
like
of
a
his
less
son-
likable Tywin.
Yeah, instead of his son being a dwarf, it's a fat guy who's afraid of blood.
The guy's pretty thin, this guy.
No, his son.
Sam.
Oh, Sam, sorry, yeah.
He treats them basically the same way, except instead of Tyrion has a lot more leeway.
Yeah.
Tyrion is treated
Well,
better.
Tyrion is a
than Sam.
royal. He is a noble, technically. Yeah.
Well, so is Sam, to a lesser extent.
Yeah, very
He's-
lesser.
He's the
yeah.
heir of the Tarley family. Well, he was the heir of the Tarley family.
Yeah.
That's why he got shipped off to the Night's Watch.
So that his brother could
In the
take-
show,
Okay.
did Sam get sent down to the Citadel?
He's going to Old Town.
Okay.
With Gilly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because in the book, he's already made it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he like just makes it.
Or he just makes it, but there's also a plot in Old Town with, I think some of the, who is it? It's, they meet like one of the, whose perspective is it from? Anyway, but they meet like one of the Meisters, one of the few Meisters who knew how to do wizardry or something like that.
Okay. Hashtag Gandalf the Grey's coming to Game of Thrones. Anyways, so that was Jimbab here, and this was a fantastic podcast in Game of Thrones. We'll see you in 5 weeks because we're going to do a Game of Thrones podcast on the halfway mark.
Unless
and
somebody
the
really
finale.
important dies.
Nope. No.
We said we talked about
savor
emergency
it.
podcasts.
We'll savor these feelings because we have other ideas, other topics to talk about, and so I was Jimbab here, or James from Jimbab Productions, joined alongside by Devin and by Danny, and we will see you in the next Jimbab Show.